All right, Steven. This is how you cut an onion. You take the onion, there's a top, and there's a root. You want to cut off the top. Now you want to peel a couple of the layers. Peel down towards the root. Tear it off at the root. Keep going. Keep going. And then if you got to take off another layer, you say, okay, fine. I'll let go another layer. All right, take that whole layer off. Don't mess with it too much. Just let it go. I'll get that in a second. Peel towards the root. Here's the root. It's kind of nasty. If you want, you can go at it, or you can just leave it alone and give it a quick rinse. All right, nice clean onion. The top is cut off. Root is still there. Put that top down. Take a big knife. If you have a big knife, use the big knife. If not, then use a small knife. Cut it. Slice it right through the root. So nice halves. The root is on the bottom. The root is still there. Why you want to keep the root? It's because it holds it together while you chop the onion. Now you want to make cuts. You take a small knife and you make cuts down the onion. Stay away from the root. Keep a little bit of a margin and give it a cut. And these cuts, you don't make it straight like this. You give it a angle, radial. So it's radial to the root. And you go like this in an arc. This is what you end up with. It's a cut like that. Cut like that. So these cuts are coming down the middle, or they come at a slight angle across. So down the middle or at a slight angle. And you want to make them like that. If you have a bigger onion, this is a really small one. You want to make other cuts starting from the center, moving towards the back. Center, moving towards the back. So you're making cuts from the center of one sliver towards the back, but you don't want to hit the root. Don't get too close to the root. Keep some margin. So you're making cuts from the front of the onion like this and the back of the onion like this. And so these cuts, they don't touch. They're overlapping like this. Okay, now the final part. You take your big knife and you cut across the onion like that. You cut like this and you end up with nice dices like this dice size. When you cut, you don't want to have your fingers like this. You want to bend your knuckles, and you can basically slap your knuckles like this with your knife, and it's totally safe. And you want to move your fingers a little bit, and you want to cut. Cut nice and even across like that. Keep going. And then you're going to come to a part where it's taller than it is fat. And so just let it down. And then give it some more cuts. Now it's fatter than it is tall, so you put it on its side again. And you give it some more cuts. Now you see this, there's a lot of space here, so I'm going to turn it like this. And I'm going to cut it. Always my knuckle is bent, and the knife slaps against my knuckle. Mess around at the end, get as much as you want. Okay, now this is diced. It's all diced. It's good to go. You get tiny pieces. If you want a finer dice, you can make those cuts across the onion a little bit more numerous, have more of those. Or you can move your finger less and less as you chop across the onion. So that's how you dice an onion. So you can get to work dicing onions now. It's super easy. Keep the root on. Make cuts halfway or 3/4 of the way, radially like this. And then turn it around. Make cuts on the other side. Depending on how big the onion is, you might have to do this, you might not. And then just slice away. And as long as you keep your knuckles bent and your knife is not cutting your finger like that, then you can just go nuts and then you'll be done.